It was a fun semester at the food science lab. We began with sensory evaluation, which requires us as panelists to explain our perceptions of aroma, taste, flavor, appearance, and texture. In this experiment, we had a variety of corn, fresh, frozen, canned, and creamed, shortened cakes, vanilla pudding, regular, instant, and pre-made, and macaroni and cheese made from scratch, packaged, canned, and frozen. We learned to evaluate food items using the paired comparison test, the triangle test, and the dual trio test. We also utilized the scorecard for rating and the hedonic rating scale. Next, we learned objective testing, which requires measurements of characteristics such as volume, tenderness, flow properties, gel strength, and emulsion stability. In this experiment, we had measured the specific gravity of the egg white, as well as the volume, weight, surface area, and density of the muffins using a 3D laser scanner, comparing the muffins that were made with different numbers of strokes. Next, we learned about starch from various sources and how they are used as thickening agents in different products. Here, we were learning about how the pigments in different fruits and vegetables are affected by a change in pH. Next, we learned about comparing the nutrient content of various grains and comparing the flavor and texture of baked products using soy flour and gluten-free flour. For our vegan, carrot, gluten-free muffins, we used flaxseed, olive oil, ripe bananas, maple syrup, unsweetened applesauce, brown sugar, baking soda, cinnamon, carrots, gluten-free rolled oats, and a gluten-free flour blend. We also learned about fats and oils and the temperature at which different oils and fats solidify and the different temperatures at which they melt, and how their percentage of fat affects these measurements. We also reviewed their viscosity, as well as how the type of fat, how it affects the Maillard reaction in different cookies, how it affects the browning. And of course, the cakes made with different flour. Here's all-purpose flour. Honey. We also learned to make cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese, so this was amazing. We used different percentages of fat in the milk to make different kinds of percentages with the cheese. And of course, evaporated milk did not produce any cottage cheese because it inhibits the curd formation. We also learned to provide protein and different food items using vegan sources. We used tofu, some syrup, and melted chocolate chips over the boiling water to make this delicious tofu-filled mousse. I also got to hold my very own little gluten ball. Here, the starch had been removed using the cold water. So many fun experiments this semester.